Hey folks, this is Gray here, and the topic of discussion today is going to be, to me, one of the most underrated topics that people fail to discuss in the prepping community. So what I mean by that specifically is what I'm talking about is books. And I got a comment not too long ago in regards to someone saying, "Hey Gray, what books do you recommend in regards to emergency preparedness?" And I thought that would make a great topic for a video. I've done some in the past, but sometimes you have to revisit certain topics to kind of make it fresh. Especially, that I think I did it a couple of years ago or something to that extent. Also, be forewarned, in this video, I do plan to ramble a bit. So for the folks that don't like to hear me talk too much, my apologies in advance. And the reason I feel that books are somewhat very underrated amongst people is everything is online. Everybody gets their sources and their information from online. They don't really focus on, on books anymore, and it's truly a shame. I like books for several different reasons. It's something tangible that I can hold, I can read, and so on and so forth. And let's just hypothetically talk here for a second. If there was some sort of cataclysmic event, be it an EMP or a CME, coronal mass ejection, your electromagnetic pulse, something that that's been in the news lately. I think it was stated that Russia wants to put some sort of nuclear device in space to take out our satellites, which is like an EMP style weapon. So it's not far-fetched to kind of discuss something like that, which brings down the net pretty much. There's so much, people don't understand how much our satellites control, in regards to communications and information, and the list goes on. So I find that books as a tangible, informative kind of piece of material is super important. So to kind of get to the point, what I'm going to be talking about in this video is I'm going to suggest several books to you folks who either just started prepping, who want to kind of take their prepping to the next level, and in regards to literature and books. Some of these books that I'm going to show you in this video, to me, are super, super important. The authors are very reputable. The material inside that is just invaluable. I mean, it's just such important material, and it always gives you an opportunity to reference that material if you don't have access to an internet, to your phone, or to something else, things that you can take notes on, things that you can look back on. It's just, I really, really, really feel personally that books are sometimes overlooked in regards to how important they are to emergency preparedness. The books I'm going to be showing you in this video are kind of like where to start, like, what should be one of the first books that you get, and then kind of escalating from that point. And they're going to basically encompass a variety of topics from just general preparedness and so on and so forth. I'll go a little bit over what's inside the books to kind of give you an idea. And at least a few of them I will put down in the description. I'll link to them if you care to check those out. It will be an Amazon storefront link to the book. So just to be transparent, for anybody says anything, yes, I might get 50 cents or 10 cents if someone happens to use my link and buy one of these books. But I'm not doing it specifically for that. I'm doing it specifically to share information that I feel is very pertinent to emergency preparedness. So hopefully that you'll get some sort of value out of this video. I'm almost assuming this video will not do well because it's about books. It's not the pizzazz of what's in the news and this and war and all this crazy stuff that happens. It's not something that people search readily on the net, you know what I mean? But I feel that it's important, and I want to share it with you. And if you guys find it just as important as I do, please leave your comments down below and share it with other folks that you might feel that find this information relevant. I would truly appreciate that. Enough of my ramble. I'll go into the back bench. Like, I kind of have that style format where I like to go and kind of give you guys a close-up of what I'm going over, be it if it's a review or a book or canned goods like I did not too long ago. Just to kind of give you a nice down view of what I'm showing you outside of just going through this and pointing to this and saying, hey, this should buy this book. Hopefully a lot of you guys understand why I do the way I do. At least it works for me. I like it. Other than that, I will cease to ramble. let's head back there, and I'm going to show you several books, everything from emergency preparedness to medical to, medicinal plants to stuff like what else was I going to say? Just canning and stuff like that. Things that I feel that is really, really important and pertinent to the emergency preparedness community. All right, so I want to start out with this book. This is something new in my library. It's a recent book that came out by Mike Glover. He has a YouTube channel, which is awesome. He also has a organization called Fieldcraft Survival and several other things. He's well connected in the prepperverse of things. And this book is an amazing read, folks. It's like A to Z in regards to emergency preparedness. Mike Glover, if you look up Mike Glover and just kind of get a little bit of his bio, you'll see why this book is truly a great book and a great read for everyone, for all ages, folks. At least that's from my perspective. And like I said, I don't want to go too deep into it because I prefer you guys to take a chance and read some of these books. The foreword was written by Jack Carr, who is a former Navy SEAL. And again, Mike Glover, who wrote this book, was also in special operations and did a lot of work around the globe. And this is the key word, folks, prepared. It goes over stuff like EDC and several other great topics in regards to different scenarios and stuff like that. It's just, folks, if I can recommend where you start at in regards to emergency preparedness, this might be the book for you. You can also find it on audiobook. But like I said, having a tangible piece of material like a book where you can put little notations and tabs and things that you want to reference and to have on hand, you can't go wrong with this book called Prepared by Mike Glover. So the next book here is called The Ultimate Survival Medicine Guide, Emergency Preparedness for Any Disaster by Joseph Alton and his wife Amy Alton. By far, a lot of preppers probably have this in their books. Some of you may not, but this book, when it comes to survival medicine, is one of the best books out there. Even coming from a background of being a combat medic in the Army, I find this book to be such a great book, such a great read. It's very detailed in regards to the material that's in here, and it even has graphics and kind of goes over a lot of different things in this material. But by far, it's just such a great book. I mean, you're looking here at childbirth and stuff like that. But they did such a great job on this. They may even have an updated version of this book. You can find it on Amazon. Most of these books you'll be able to find on Amazon, because why not? But here's the thing is, if Amazon ever goes down, you need to order these books now and have them in your prepper library. Just as much as a prepper pantry or water filtration and all the other stuff that's just as important, I feel that having material like this is super important. Anyways, again, this is another great choice for folks that are getting into emergency preparedness or wanting to get into, emergency preparedness medicine, survival medicine specifically. This is a phenomenal book, folks. You can't go wrong with this book at all. All right, so for a third book, Surviving the Wild. Now, this is for folks that are looking into that bushcraft, outdoors first aid skills, surviving certain inclement weather and stuff like that. This book is awesome. And you're going to kind of get me, you're probably going to hear me say awesome a lot in this video, just because these are some of my favorite books that I pulled off the shelf. The author of this book is Joshua Enyart. He also is a former Green Beret. Matter of fact, I'm going to be modeling one of my bug out or get home bag videos after him, coming up, I think, in either late March. I just kind of emulated something that he had put together. He also has a YouTube channel. It's a great YouTube channel. I've watched him for years, read his books. He also does training and stuff like that. Just like Mike Glover, they offer training as well. Joshua Enyart offers training for those folks that happen to be in those areas of those training programs. All you have to do is just Google the author's name and you can find out that information. Again, this is more of like a bushcraft book. It kind of goes over all those things for the folks out there that are, want that kind of more of that wilderness survival information in here. And it just has so much detailed information in regards to all different types of things. It's just like, again, it's one of those must-haves, you know what I mean? And you just can't go wrong with some of these books that I'm showing you in this video. But Surviving the Wild with Joshua Enyart, such a great book. You can't beat it, folks. All right, so my next book is called Backyard Medicine. Now, you've probably seen these two books here or something like it, which is your kind of like your Peterson's field guides. And make sure if you do buy books of this nature that you buy them for your region and whatnot. And I'll explain that here in a second. But this book I just found to be really great. It's kind of like almost like a companion book, and you folks know that I like dandelions, or at least anybody who's been kind of following me for a while. But knowing what you can use for medicinal purposes when it comes to the plants in your area. Very detailed book. Sorry about that. Lots of great information in these books, all the different types of plants. If you're into medicinal plants, I think everyone should be, just because this stuff could save your life. It's ironic that I turned it to the dandelion page, probably because this is where I've read so much information on these plants. But you'll be shocked the amount of plants that you can find out in the wilderness that can benefit you medicinally. I don't know how much I can reiterate how important some of these books are. When you go on a hike, you should throw this in your bag and kind of research the plants that you're using. If the grid is up and running and everything is normal per se, you can use different apps on your phone. I mean, I can do an entire video on apps that I have on my phone to research specific plants, take pictures of them, get the information, and then try to practice and utilize some of the material that's in these books in real world situations. Let's say you have a headache, or you have this or that, or whatever ailment, try using this stuff. I've talked about medicinal plants that I use personally, like the elderberry and echinacea, and willow bark, and so on and so forth. There are just a lot of great things out there that you can use, because if things were really to go bad, you won't have a pharmacist to go to. You won't have, outside of, let's say, if you prep medicine like I do, once that runs out, you're going to have to depend on yourself. You're your own doctor at that point, and knowing what plants you can use is truly a lifesaver. So moving on from that, outside of medicinal plants is edible plants. Now, I think I showed you the one Peterson field guide, but as you see, for you Floridians out there, this is called Florida's Edible Wild Plants. And the reason I chose this book and decided to show it to you guys, because most folks know that I'm in Florida. If you can find books specifically based on your area and your state, it's a lot better than getting kind of a book that just kind of the southeast region, because certain plants might not be available to you. And this book had so much information and so much detail. Some people get upset because it doesn't have color photos and stuff like that, but I kind of like this because it kind of gives you a little bit more detail with the pictures that are used in this book. But specifically, Florida Edible Wild Plants is just a great book. These are sea grapes here. And there's so many other things that grow in Florida, and this author is, let me see, Peggy Lance. Someone recommended me this book quite some time ago, and for me, it works great because I live in Florida. But if you can find, let's say if you live in Alaska, you live in California, you live in Montana, Idaho, wherever that you're located at, if you can find something specifically to your state, like let's say you live in Arizona, a desert climate, find something in regards to desert, plants, either medicinally or edible, that you can consume. Because if you ever find yourself lost or something happens, knowing this information or having this on hand, and again, can truly be a lifesaver. All right. Now I do have the Balls canning jar. I think it's the Ball. Yeah, it just sounds horrible saying that. But anyways, I've been digging into pressure canning myself. To me, it's a rite of passage in regards to self-sufficiency and stuff like that. And I find that this book had a lot of great information outside of the Balls canning jar book that I have, that I got when I got my pressure canner and stuff like that. And I'm always trying to learn more things and get different perspectives and information in regards to pressure canning, how to pressure can certain foods and stuff like that. And in this book, it just had like the stuff that I was looking for in regards to pressure canning, specifically wild game and fish, because of where I live at here in Florida, we have a lot of fish and wild game. We have lots of boar, we have lots of deer, and the list goes on. We have wild turkeys, all kinds of cool stuff. And I just noticed that when I read through this book for the first or second time, and wrote some notes down, because I usually take notes and I take them to the side and make my own kind of like binder with information in regards to what I'm reading, and kind of put together what's important to me or highlight certain things in books. But by far, this was one of my favorite pressure canning books by Diane Devereaux. And like I said, if you're looking into getting into self-sufficiency, this is something that you may want to look into in regards to canning your own food. Now, when it comes to communications, and a lot of folks have a Baofeng UV5R radio, basically this guy right here. If you have something like this, this is probably one of the best books I've ever read outside of, you know, going on YouTube and looking at the information on YouTube. This by NC Scout is by far one of the best comms radio books on the Baofeng that I've ever read. And like I said, it just so much information on here, how to use it and antennas and stuff like that. Such a great book, folks. So if you're into trying to better understand how the Baofeng works and just a lot more information on comms, this is probably the book for you. Again, plus it supports some of these folks out there when you buy those books. But NC Scout did a hell of a job on this book, and truly a great read. Lots of information packed into this book right here, folks. You can't go wrong, and specifically in regards to communications and using the Baofeng UV5R radio or other Baofeng derivatives and so on and so forth. All right, folks, so that is going to be my spiel on emergency preparedness books that I find important. That's just the tip of the iceberg, folks. If you want more information or more books or more book suggestions on things that will be beneficial, because like I said, I just showed you a couple, and I personally think that, like I said, I think that's just a tip. I have a small mini library right here behind me that I pulled some books from, and then I have my full library because I collect books from everything from not just like emergency preparedness books and bushcraft and stuff like that, but also small engine repair and different topics of that nature, that things that I might not be familiar with, you know, wood crafting, how to do certain recipe books. There's just so many different things. I even buy books that are just for fun, you know, basically fiction books, because maybe you want to kick back and relax and just read a book while the power's out. Just stuff like that that might interest you. I'm a big reader of apocalyptic type books. You've probably seen some of the folks that I've had on the channel. Chris Weatherman, he's a phenomenal author. He's known as the Angry American. He has his own YouTube channel, but he wrote the series Going Home. I've had him on the channel before, as well as several other folks and authors that I find just to be truly intriguing people in regards to either fiction or nonfiction. Again, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that thumbs up button. And if you're new here and you enjoy books and emergency preparedness as much as I do, join us by subscribing. Check out the comments and the playlist and stuff like that. Let me know what you think about the channel, be it pros or cons. I mean, it is what it is. Yes, I'm the guy that rambles on for too long just because I just never think about that stuff. It's just my personality. But remember, folks, you are not alone. This is GreyMan. I'm out. I'll see you guys on the rebound. God bless you all, and thank you for taking the time to watch this video.